Hey everyone, welcome back to Freedom to Run, and we're here to share some stories of some of the runners that we're working with, some of the triumphs that they have, some of the hardships they're going through, and today's guest, Audrey, kind of has all of those things going on here, which I think is an amazing story to share. She's a senior at Oak Creek High School in Wisconsin, and she began working with us leading up to her cross country season last summer. Audrey, during the cross country season was working really, really hard, but the results weren't really there. It was kind of a tough season and everything. And then we discovered, through all of this that her iron levels were really, really low. We worked to kind of get that, she worked to get to that point to where she's now able to safely start rebuilding. And in her second indoor meet, she ran an 11-second PR in her mile, getting down to 5:45. And she's already qualified for indoor state meet in the 800 as well. Got a couple more indoor meets here, but the other really cool thing is Audrey's also signed to continue her running career at Suffolk University in Boston. Audrey's story just about patience, advocacy, and all these amazing things about trusting the process is what we want to highlight here. Audrey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, let's get right to it here. We'll start with the cross country season. Audrey, take us back last summer. I know there was a lot of kind of changes and things that were going on for you. I knew you had this goal you wanted to run in college. When you started working with us, kind of what were those goals your senior season? What kind of brought you to us?
I definitely wanted more of a change in the environment and just more like a positive environment. And I think, going in, my goal originally was to break 20 minutes in the 5K. And then just kind of maintain the positive environment that I was welcomed with right away. And I knew that I could continue that going into senior season.
Awesome. And obviously we were doing some really good work. As you know, every almost every day we check in and we were really pleased with what you were doing in the workouts. Came out, ran pretty close to your PR in the first meet there of the season, and then it kind of just went in the wrong direction for cross country. For you as a competitor, somebody who knew you were putting in this work and the results weren't there, just what was that like for you? I know that was a really tough time.
I think it was definitely hard seeing my teammates, my friends, and just the other competitors PR, and I kept going back almost, like, my times kept getting worse, and I was really confused and really lost on kind of why, and I tried to, evaluate each part, like, was it my training? Was it the environment? Was it I need to change my mindset? And I couldn't really pinpoint where I was really at that time.
And did you think that it was something physical, or did you have any idea that it was something like iron deficiency like that?
That really didn't come up for me until I started, really looking into it. I didn't really think that that was an option, but I thought maybe I was overtraining or something, and obviously it was not that.
And I know it was something we were talking about it toward the end of the season. And I said, it could be iron, and everything. It's not at all uncommon for a female distance runner. When we first kind of talked about that, what was kind of going through your mind when that idea came up, as you were going to get your testing, when we suspected that your iron levels were low?
Yeah, I was kind of relieved to hear that maybe iron was like a possible that could have been the problem because I know it's easy to get on the iron supplements compared to if you've overtrained or something, it takes a little bit of a long time to kind of come back from that. You have to take a little bit of time off. But knowing that there is, an iron supplement to fix, it wasn't going to fix me right away, but definitely would help me in the long run. And I was kind of just relieved knowing that that was an option at the time.
Right, exactly. But before we knew that, you did make the really difficult decision to end your senior cross country season. I think it was right after your conference meet, which, obviously that was not the best showing of the season. I think it may have been the slowest showing of the season, if I remember correctly, something like that. I mean, talk to us about that tough decision. We didn't know at this point that the iron was an issue. What all kind of went into that process to end your senior cross country season?
Yeah, having to make that decision was definitely not easy, knowing that the next meet after the conference meet was the qualifying meet to try to get to the state meet. So knowing that that I wasn't going to make it to the state meet this year was definitely that was a hard factor, but knowing that if I take this break, it's gonna help me mentally and physically, I knew that at that point, that was something that I just had to do, and I know that I just instantly thought about track and how I was gonna bounce back from it.
Yeah, and that was what I really loved in your whole mentality with it. Once we realized it was iron, to your point, it was really a relief because, I'm directly working with you and seeing the efforts that you're putting in and was happy that it was something that we could so easily fix. But I guess for that and everything, when you started getting to that point and safely started to rebound, we got the testing done, your iron level started to improve, and then we started this process of conditioning for indoor track. What did that what did that look like for you? What did that kind of do for you when you kind of just see things start to turn?
So I did take 6 weeks off of running completely after that. I just knew that, like, I wanted to get my iron levels to even, like, near the normal range so I could mentally and physically feel as if, like, I could continue running, I could start this again. So it was pretty difficult, I would say, probably the first month of going back. But I remember one of my, like, breakout workouts, I was doing a 5 by 1K, and I, like, had hit all my times, and I had even gone under, like, the times that I was supposed to, and I was like that's when I started to really, like, feel the confidence come back, knowing that, like, "Okay, I can do this again." And during my workouts and during that workout specifically too, I remember, but I also still do this now, is I kinda think back I tell myself, like, "Think back to where you were a month ago or 2 months ago. I couldn't run, and I was really confused on why I couldn't run this fast, and now that I can, I kinda use that as my motivation. So that's really helped, I feel like, speed up the process almost and help me just be more confident in myself going forward.
Talk a little bit. I mean, I know we've talked a little bit about those 1K workouts that you're doing, where you're running faster than your 2 mile pace. You're running faster than even your mile pace on some of them with the correct rest and everything. Just talk a little bit more about that confidence boosting workout and everything, because you've done quite a few of them now in a super successful manner.
Yeah, I actually look forward to my 1K repeats now. Like that's one of the workouts that I'm like, okay, cool. Like I get to do that just knowing that like I have like the time that I have hit before. So I'm like, okay, I'm always trying to aim for in that range at like more of like the highest end possible for my first rep and just continue to build down. And then I kind of use that as like I, like, visualize, like, how I'm racing there so I can get a feel for it in the race, and I really learned to like that workout, I think, with the amount of rest that I get in between, like, the jog rest in between, it allows me to kinda, like, recuperate and just get on with the next one, and I never really, like, rush through that workout, I kinda, like, enjoy each rep as it is so I can kind of mentally prepare, and physically prepare for how I'm gonna be racing.
And for people watching this, what she's talking specifically, she's talking about 2 mile pace, VO2 max, 1K is probably one of the most painful experiences you can have out there. And just for the fact that you can run something like that, be so happy and successful with it from where you were when you made that decision to end your senior, cross country season. Just talk a little bit about what that kind of says for it, because that is a workout that is very, very challenging, what that kind of changed for your whole mentality and everything.
I think the workout itself, I mean, it's not like the full mile, but it's like kind of right in between like, a half mile and a mile. So just seeing that I can run, fast, like faster than my mile pace on those, it just when I'm actually running the mile, it just allows me to just I feel like have so much more confidence going into that race knowing I have ran that pace before. This is not like a goal time that I'm going for. Like I have ran it so many times. So I feel like that was kind of like a confidence booster going into my races and just helped me stay positive through it.
And, fast forwarding to, it was about 2 weeks ago now at this point, maybe 10 days, something like that, where you ran your second indoor meet at the University of Milwaukee, if I remember correctly, right?
Mhm.
You PR'd by 11 seconds in that indoor mile. Talk a little bit about how you felt on that race to go out and, not that long ago, you ended your senior cross country season. Now to go out there and set a PR in the mile in just your second indoor race, you've got more coming up. You've got a whole outdoor season. how did that feel seeing your fitness kind of showing up on the clock at the end as well?
So I actually, the first indoor mile I ever ran was about, I think, a month prior to that, and that was coming off of 4 weeks of coming back after a 6 week break. So I didn't really know what I had in me, and I knew at the end of that race, I was like, okay, I know I have more. And I remember saying after, like, this is just going to be the beginning. I know I'm excited to build more because I know I have so much left in me. And then, a month later, running a 5:45, that's not only an indoor PR for me, my second indoor mile ever, but also like I haven't ran that fast outdoor ever as well. So just seeing that and knowing that that's what I ran at my second indoor race only about just about 2 months back, coming off of being iron deficient, it's really relieving knowing that I can't wait to see what my senior year is going to look like, and I know I this is just like a huge bounce back from what my cross country season was like.
Was there a point in that race? I mean, I know we had talked about it, going onto the track with confidence and everything, but was there a point in that race, lap, you know, 5, lap 6, whatever it is, 200-meter track? Was there a point where you're like, this is actually kind of happening?
Yeah, I think it was around like lap 5 or 6 when I was like I saw like the clock and I was like, okay, if I just run, the next few laps like at the pace that I know that I can, I was like, okay, I think I can get around. Originally, I was hoping for under 5:40, but um I hit the 5:45 and I was like, okay, if I start to go now, I think I can get to my goal. And I was just short of it, but I mean, I was pretty close, and I know that the next one, within I think it's next week, and I'm racing the mile again. I know that I'll be able to hopefully go under 5:40 there or come close to it.
Right, and very close to the indoor state mile timing. I think, what is it, like a quarter second off at this point, right?
Yeah,
And you've already got the 800-meter time. Just talk to, obviously, indoor, it's a very short season that leads into the outdoor season. How are you excited for these next couple of races here and just how your body's feeling?
I'm excited. I actually like the indoor season. I mean, running on an indoor track, and doing my workouts on there. I think that's like I'm in the right headspace knowing I've ran this pace at an indoor track before. So just going into the indoor season, I'm excited about it. I'm excited to finish out the season for indoor and then just get right to outdoor and hopefully run the mile and 2 mile there and just see what I can do out there.
Now, another side benefit of all this, and I think it was a week or two, a couple weeks maybe before that you committed to the Suffolk University. Talk about that, from again, you've got this really, really like probably one of the lowest points you've had in terms of your running not that long ago. You have this other really amazing thing happen for you. You know you're running in college next year. What else does that kind of excite you about that? Not only do you have this really exciting, indoor outdoor experience, but you're going to a place that you want to go to next year and you can continue running in college. Just how excited are you, not just short term, but long term for your running?
I'm very excited. I know that like right here now, it's just kind of like the building blocks for what I'm going to be able to accomplish in college. And I think being surrounded by not only a coach, but a team that is just, it's so positive. The environment is so positive. I know that that's going to help me to succeed there. And so I'm just going to take everything that I've learned here and just bring it all into college and see what I can accomplish in college.
And I guess for any other, high school athletes, this idea of getting stuck with progress and things like that isn't uncommon at all. Is there anything that you'd maybe want to say to a high school athlete that's, working really, really hard and not seeing the results? Maybe they're feeling discouraged, fairly similar to what you were feeling at the end of your senior season. Maybe what would you say to somebody that's having a similar experience to what you had?
I think for me, the biggest thing was changing my environment, but that also came with changing my mindset. I think if you're putting in the work and you're just not seeing the results, that there must be some sort of outside factor, and running is pretty much all mental. So just if there's something else that's affecting your mindset, that has to change because that for me, like fixing some of the outside factors really played a huge part in the success that I've had now and being so much more confident going into just races and running in general.
Well, fantastic. Audrey, we've loved getting a chance to work with you here this senior year. We love how amazing you're feeling about this, which is the most important thing, like you were saying, this positive mentality. And I think it really does just speak to this idea that, you can always change your situation. It doesn't have to be, one direction all the time. If you kind of take that ownership like you really have with, everything we talked about here, not just looking at, the iron levels and everything else, but that positive environment and everything that you've created for yourself is just amazing. And again, for anybody who's watching this, we always talk about, empowering athletes to, safely reach their goals with customized methods. Audrey, I think you really speak to, you show what that really can be. It's different for every single person. Iron levels is an uncommon thing, but something that we definitely always want to look at for somebody. But I guess just for you, in this last little bit, what is there anything else that you might want to say as you get into your senior season here? Anything else that you'd want to kind of close out with that we haven't talked about?
I just think not getting discouraged when things get tough. I know I was really discouraged at the end of my senior season, especially looking at running in college. But just in a few months, like things can really change. So that's what I'm so excited for in the future.
Absolutely. Well, Audrey, I really appreciate it. Glad we get to work with you here through the end of your senior season, and let's go get that indoor mile time and even beyond it.
Thank you.